They came like a storm. The Mongols ruthless, relentless, and undefeated. From the windswept steppes of Central Asia, they carved an empire with fire and steel. No city was safe. No army could stand against them. They were the terror of the 13th century. In 1258, they reached the heart of the Islamic world. Baghdad, the jewel of the Abbasid Caliphate, the city of scholars, poets, and caliphs, was reduced to ash. The libraries of centuries were burned. The caliph was executed. The streets ran red. It was the end of an era. The Mongols had sent a message. Islamic civilization was next. But one Muslim army refused to kneel, at a place called Ain Jalut. They made history. The Mongol war machine was unlike anything the world had seen. They moved fast on horseback, in silence, with deadly precision. They used psychological warfare, spreading terror before their arrival. Cities surrendered without a fight, fearing annihilation. Under Genghis Khan, the Mongols had conquered China, Persia, and parts of Europe. His descendants, Gidai, Mangi, and Hulagu Khan continued the expansion. By the mid-13th century, the Mongol Empire stretched from Korea to Hungary. In the Islamic world, panic spread. The fall of Baghdad was not just a military defeat, it was a spiritual catastrophe. The caliphate was gone. The Mongols had crushed the center of Islamic governance. And they weren't finished. Their next target was Egypt. But Egypt was ruled by warriors unlike any other. The Mamluks were not born into power. They were slaves captured as boys from the Caucasus, Central Asia, and Eastern Europe. Sold into bondage, trained in military academies, and raised to fight. They were disciplined. They were fearless. And they were loyal to the death. Over time, the Mamluks rose through the ranks. They became generals. They became rulers. In 1259, Egypt was ruled by Sultan Qutuz. He had once been a slave. Now he was the last line of defense against the Mongol tide. Beside him stood Baybars, a brilliant commander, fierce in battle and unmatched in strategy. Together, they would face the greatest threat the Islamic world had ever known. After Baghdad, the Mongols turned west. They conquered Aleppo, then Damascus. Cities surrendered without resistance, fearing the wrath of Hulag's armies. But Hulagu was forced to return to Mongolia due to the death of the great Khan Mangi. He left behind a smaller force under Kitbuka, a Christian Mongol general known for his loyalty and brutality. Kitbuka continued the campaign, pushing toward Egypt. He sent envoys to Cairo, demanding surrender. Qutuz responded with defiance. He executed the envoys and declared war. The message was clear: Egypt would not fall without a fight. Qutuz knew the Mongols were unlike any enemy before. He rallied his forces and marched north to confront them before they reached Cairo. The Mamluk army was smaller but highly trained. They were joined by local emirs from Hama, Karak, and Hamzal determined to defend their lands. The two armies met in the valley of Ain Jalut, near modern-day Palestine. The name means Spring of Goliath, a reference to the biblical battlefield. It was a strategic location, narrow, mountainous, and perfect for ambush. Baybars proposed a bold plan. He would lead a feigned retreat, drawing the Mongols into the valley. Then, hidden Mamluk forces would strike from the flanks. Qutuz agreed. The trap was set. On September 3, 1260, the armies clashed. Baybars charged forward, then pulled back. Kitbuka, confident in Mongol superiority, pursued. The Mongols entered the valley. And the trap was sprung. From the hills, Mamluk forces descended. Arrows flew. Swords clashed. The ground shook with the fury of battle. The Mongols fought fiercely, but the Mamluks were relentless. Qutuz, seeing his men falter, threw off his helmet and charged into battle himself. His cry echoed across the valley. Wa Islama! O Islam! His presence rallied the troops. The tide turned. Kitbuka was captured. He refused to surrender. He was executed. The Mongol army retreated. For the first time in history, they had been defeated in open battle. The victory at Ain Jalut was more than military. It was psychological. It shattered the myth of Mongol invincibility. The Mongols withdrew from the Levant. Egypt was saved. The Islamic world had a chance to rebuild. Baybars would go on to become sultan. He expanded Mamluk power, defended Jerusalem, and fought future crusades. Qutuz, tragically, was assassinated soon after the battle, possibly by Baybars himself. But his legacy was sealed. The Mamluks, once slaves, had defeated the most feared army on earth, not with numbers, but with brilliance. Ain Jalut became a symbol of courage, of strategy, of resistance. The Mongols had never lost a battle, until a Muslim army stopped them cold, and history remembered.